Hello everyone. This is the Knitterly Arts Podcast. I'm Jennifer Edwards, and I'm really happy that you have chosen to spend some of your precious time with me. I am knitting a life, I'm documenting the days, and I'm sharing that creative journey in numerous ways. One of the ways I do that is locally by teaching knitting and crochet classes. I absolutely love sharing the joys of knitting and crocheting with others. And I also share this creative journey online in various places. And you can find those in the show notes on knitterlyarts.wordpress.com. This is the third episode of the Knitterly Arts Podcast. And welcome. I do love it when you leave me a little note either on YouTube or on knitterlyarts.wordpress.com. I also enjoy knowing where you're from. Someone from Lyon, France actually left a comment this week. That was really fun. Others of you may be local in North Carolina. Maybe you're in other parts of the United States. But I'd love to know who you are. Introduce yourself if you'd like. I have so much to share today. It's basically going to be sharing with you what I have going on my needles, hook, in my sketchbook, etc. But especially that has to do with an art show. I have an art show every year. I think this is the fourth year running that I'm having a solo art show. Actually, it's not solo this year. Usually it is, but this year I am joining forces with my husband, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. But the art show is next weekend, November the 19th on Saturday. If you are anywhere close to the Piedmont of North Carolina, you are certainly welcome to come to this. It's at Southwinds Gallery, downtown Kernersville, North Carolina. That's a little town in between Winston-Salem and Greensboro, and I would love to see you. So at that show, I will have lots of my paintings and drawings. They're already there. The new ones are for this year, and Angie, the owner, is getting those prepped and ready. I will also have lots and lots of cards, and I am getting these card sets printed up now and put together in packages. This is just one of very many images. I usually include in a set 2 images and 3 cards per image so that folks can enjoy a variety, and there are many different sets. So Genevieve's workshop is quite busy these days getting those things together. I'm also, oh, excuse me. There's somebody squealing at me back there in the dollhouse. Just a minute. Let me see what she wants. It's Hattie. Hattie the Hedgehog. Just a second. Yes, Hattie. What is it? She's wanting to be introduced as well. And I'm happy to introduce her. She is new to my menagerie, to my family of knitted and crocheted toys and animals. Hattie the Hedgehog was created, I've knitted this last weekend, from a pattern by Susan B. Anderson. And it was a terrific pattern. Went together fairly quickly. The little twisted loop stitches here on the back they're not difficult, they just slow you down a little bit, but are so worth it for that wonderful texture. I chose a Noro yarn for that so that I could get different colors, and just a soft white cotton here, and then she shows you where to put the little eyes and mouth. But Hattie has been a lot of fun this week. She is getting to know everyone here in my studio. I'll have to introduce you to them some other time, but Hattie was back there squealing, asking to be introduced. This pattern by Susan B. Anderson, I had seen it on her Instagram. She was offering it for half price. So I will put links to all the things that I talk about in the show notes on knitterlyarts.wordpress.com So you might want to purchase and download that pattern. It is a delight. I can't wait to make more friends for Hattie. And so Hattie is saying hello to all of you out there. Hattie, you're going to go back up here with your friends. Okay. All right. So, what is that? Oh, she's telling me I need to tell you what I have on today. Boy, I think she's going to be a little bossy. What I have on today, I knitted from a pattern by Jenny Wadsley Brown. It's called the Summer Duster. As you can see, this is knitted in wool. Definitely not for summer, especially where we live in North Carolina, but it is an awesome pattern. And she even writes on there, you know, you can substitute all kinds of yarns. I think she used linen, kind of a linen yarn or linen cotton yarn, and size 11 needles. I used size 11 for this Gina worsted yarn, and it doesn't hang quite as long as what Jenny pictures for her duster, but I just love the very simple shape to it. I had this yarn my husband had given me for our anniversary a couple of years ago, and I had not found the perfect pattern for it. This one I had exactly the amount that I needed for her summer duster. So do check out that. That's a free pattern on Ravelry. And I ended up making a second one, and I've just worn it and worn it and worn it. Today it's actually cool enough for me to have wool on my body. You know, go figure that. We're almost at the end of November here, and it's just now getting cool enough for us to wear wool. But this one I knitted, it's again the Summer Duster, Jenny Wadsley Brown. And basically what you have is a rectangle that has 2 armholes. And it just drapes so nicely. You can leave it open in the front. You can close it, secure it like I've done on this one. This one I actually added a little crocheted edge. I don't know if you can see the little crocheted edge there. Just, you know, picked one that I like and added that on with some Noro yarn. And this one, I felt like it didn't need an edging. I loved, these were actually different balls of Noro, I think it's pronounced Chiraman yarn. Found this on a sale table at Knit One Smock Two, great place. Of course, that's where I teach, so it's my favorite local yarn store here in the area. But that's a great pattern. You should check that out. I did do some variation here. I think I used a 10.5 needle. And she calls for you to cast on 70 stitches. I think I cast on 90 so that I'd get a little bit larger, a little bit more drape there. But I love that pattern, and I'm probably going to be knitting more of these. These are the perfect kinds of things to wear in our area. We won't get those really, you know, cold days where you want to have wool down your sleeves and everything. This is just what you need to keep you warm inside the house, or if you go out to run errands, what have you. So that's a great pattern. You should check out that one as well. So the art show coming up. Wow. Oh, actually, I need to share with you some drawings that I've done of Hattie. She's just been very inspiring this week. And as you know, Inktober, it's over. And I decided to start Drawvember. And would you know, that was actually already an existing hashtag. So you can check out every day. I've been making a drawing of Hattie. She shows up in a different place every morning. So I've been going to find her, and wherever she is, I'm making a little sketch in my sketchbook. Or there's another one that I have a couple here. I saw her one morning, and she was holding a couple of knitting needles and some yarn, and was asking me to teach her to knit, which of course I am happy to oblige. And our sun is going down this afternoon, so I may have to stop and rearrange the sunlight just so that we get a little better picture here. But another morning, Hattie was in a bowl of yarns in my living room, and I think it was probably very cozy for her. This particular day, she had found some of my kaleidoscopes. I love kaleidoscopes, and I've actually written a little blog post about living a kaleidoscope life. If you want to read that, that's on jenniferedwards.com, the blog that's connected there. Here's Hattie in a bowl. It's actually over there on the piano, and she is meeting a lot of other friends and creatures that I have knitted and crocheted over the years. I'll introduce you to those some other time. This is today's drawing. I found her in the midst of the crocheted pumpkins, that free pattern. I think I talked about that in the first episode. So do check that out. It's still pumpkin season. So if you want a very quick and simple crochet pattern that you don't even need to knit or crochet the stem because you use a cinnamon stick for the stem. But Hattie was having a good time nestled in there. So these paintings and drawings of Hattie will not be at the art show. There are many other artworks there. I typically put in work that I have created along the way this year as I either draw and paint here in Kernersville or when I go places. So I do have a couple of paintings from Bass Lake up in Boone, up in the mountains. That's where I'm from. I have some paintings from Salem Lake, which is just down the road here. I have drawings from Senior Botanical Gardens, lots of flowers, beautiful scenes from the gardens. I also have some of my black and white drawings from Inktober, especially the trees. I love drawing and painting trees, so if you're able to make it to the art show, I would love to see you there. It's just a fun time to enjoy art. There are always refreshments, and they're great places to go out to eat afterwards, should you be interested in that. Like I said, I'm pairing with my husband, and he has published his first book. I'm very excited about this. This book is called The Night is O'er. I don't know if it will show backwards, the title here, but it is a collection of his Christmas stories. My husband is a pastor here in town, and on Christmas Eve every year for the past several years, he doesn't deliver a sermon like, you know, the usual typical kind of sermon. He employs his creativity to write either a fairy story or a narrative letter, something different to engage all the ages that are there on Christmas Eve. It is a beautiful book, a beautiful collection of writings. The 3 fairy stories that are in it are worth, you know, the price of this alone, much less the other writings that are in it. The fairy stories are in the genre of George MacDonald, C.S. Lewis, if you're familiar with those authors, beautifully written. And so I'm excited to be there with him, for him, and he's going to be signing his books. I will also have my books there for sale. My first book was a children's book, Genevieve and the Kite. And this is, I think I told you about my character, Genevieve. I have drawn her for several years. She represents me, but this story was actually inspired by a conversation that I overheard with my youngest daughter and her Aunt Kathy. It's based on that conversation they had at the beach. We have a family beach trip every June that Grandma and Grandpa treat us to, and we just love going. And it's a sweet story about overcoming fear, overcoming the fear of trying new things or doing something that you are afraid might not turn out the way you hoped that it would. And so that was my first book. I also have at the gallery this one. I love this book. Letters to an Artist is a compilation of imagined letters from my Heavenly Father to his artist child. So basically to me, they were written over quite a long period of time. I have for many, many years wrestled with the call to be an artist over and against the call to be a wife, mom, friend, all of the things, all the other things that we have in our life that we're called to. And just struggling with, how do I think about it all? How do I put it all together? How do I work through blocks or things that are challenging for me? And so I, a couple of years ago, began writing these letters, imagining my father talking to me. And so it's kind of devotional like, but I think any creative, whether you're a painter, drawer, knit, crochet, mosaics, pottery, whatever it is you do, I think this is a great book of encouragement for you. I also have a book of poetry, Words on a Line. I don't consider myself a poet, definitely not in the vein that my husband is, but I do love to write poetry on occasion. And for a few years there, I was just, sitting down with my notebook and writing. Several of them just were tumbling out. So there's a good many here. Fairly lighthearted and frothy poetry that rhymes, and but it's a lot of fun. I enjoy writing poetry and sharing it with others. And last year, my book that I published is called An Artful Life Primer. I feel like it kind of encapsulates how I think about life and think about living. It is, just as it says, a primer, being a very basic outline of making creativity an ongoing practice in one's life, the case for it, and how to do it. It's very simple, but sometimes the simple things are difficult for us to actually make a habit of. And this little book is hopefully an encouragement to everyone who reads it to maintain or to begin an ongoing practice of creativity through which they are able to see their life anew and see it for the beauty that it actually is, no matter what's going on in someone's life. So that was my last book. That'll be there at the art show. I am also going to have this year, I've had a couple of fiber paintings before. I'm calling these fiber paintings because, well, I'm using yarn, I'm using fibers in the place of paint. So last year there was a new one, fairly large one, landscape painting in fiber, in yarn. And this year I have 6 new ones. I'm going to share them with you briefly that will be at the show. And these I did back in August. I participated in a 7-day art challenge with Tara Lever. And if you don't know Tara Lever, you should look her up. She is a delightful, wonderful artist who feels it is her mission and calling to encourage other artists. And she does a beautiful job of it. She offers classes for you to sign up for. You can, at the very least, you can give your email to receive her regular art notes. And it's just encouragement for you to continue making, continue creating, continue doing the thing you love to do. I just have really appreciated her. She is in England, I'm pretty sure. Tara, I hope I have said that correctly. But yes, I'm pretty sure she's from England. Look her up. So I participated in this 7-day challenge that she put out there to encourage us to try something within a short frame of time, to try something that isn't our norm. And even though I had done 1 or 2 of these fiber paintings before, there were still lots of questions that I had So I'll just show them to you by way of sharing with you these questions. So here's one of the fiber paintings. This is the first one, actually. Just the idea of making shapes. You know, how can I make shapes that depict something realistic? And so, you know, I was able to do that very simple little landscape. Now, today, this morning, my job has been to put the backing on them, and that's a little bit of a job. And then there's a casing, of course, here at the top for a rod or a dowel to go through so that folks can hang it on their walls. I also had the question, can I depict form or three-dimension, different tones and shades that would give you the sense of there being form, such as to these pears. I do have a little bit more surface embellishing to do, just not much, but there will be a little bit to do on the front of this to finish them off. But that one was fun. I enjoyed doing that. This, you know, the question for me was, can I depict the ocean and the different colors that show up in the ocean, as well as the foam in the little breakers as it hits the sand here. And you can't really see in this video the texture. There's a lot of texture in each of these. That's what it's all about. You know, instead of using paint, I wanted to use fibers so I could get the color, the richness of the color, the textures, to have textures suggest certain things in a landscape or an oceanscape or what have you. So this one here, this is another landscape of a path, and if you can visualize walking that path, some flowers along the way, mountains, tree line in the background, lots of texture on this one. I'm sorry that that's probably not showing up very well on the video, but it was just a really cool way to get myself thinking a little differently about images. I wanted, you know, most of the time when you crochet, you're doing very regular symmetrical shapes, and I just didn't, I wanted to use that free form technique to create an image, a painting. And I have made paintings similar to this in the past, where you have a very simple kind of funky wonky shape for a flower coming out of a vase. And then this was the last one, very, very small one. But again, wanting to depict just that texture that you have in a landscape. Foreground, as it recedes to the background, sun coming up over the distant hills. So that they're going to be there at the show, and I hope folks enjoy seeing those. It should be a great time. It is every year. I'm always so grateful for the people who come out for my show, and it's just an exciting day. So please come if you can. Now, I do want to share with you some of the things that I have on my needles now. And I will start off with the Oulu Mitts. Actually, I have Oulu Mitt. This is a pattern by Caitlin Hunter for purchase. Gorgeous pattern. Look it up. The colors she chooses are wonderful. And I have, ta-da, I have one. This one represents about 3. I don't know what my problem is. It doesn't have to do with Caitlin's pattern. Lovely pattern, wonderful charts for every size you can imagine. This was the first time I had done Fair Isle without double-pointed needles. I used magic loop. Now, I'm a magic loop gal with my socks, but I had always done Fair Isle with double points, and for some reason, I think it was the magic loop that threw me off, and also created, which I ripped out numerous times to try and get this right. You know, when you pull that back needle out to use it, she calls for size 7 needles. And the little wire that connects your two size 7s is far smaller than your size 7 needle. And so as I pulled the yarn to come around and begin the Fair Isle on the next round, I was getting a pucker right here on each side of the magic loop needles. And I pulled it out and started again, pulled it out, started again, and then I began to actually catch the yarn much more often than I would typically with Fair Isle. So it ended up working well. I love this one, and I am looking forward to finishing and doing the second one. Nothing to do with her pattern. Super pattern. In fact, I looked up on Ravelry to see if other people were having issues because, oh my goodness, it's like, surely I'm not the only one. No, I was the only one. Everybody else said, great pattern, easy, had them done in a day. So I just maybe need to brush up on my Fair Isle using Magic Loop, which I'm doing by making them. All right, so, ooh, I have... Now, this is going to date me, and I am way behind the times, because when the Einstein Coat came out by Sally Melville, it was all the rage. In fact, I remember I was teaching at Knit Once Mock 2 at the time when the Einstein Coat was just being made by nearly everybody who walked in the door. And for some reason, I got through that season without my very own Einstein Coat. So that's what I am working on. And I had wanted to show you, oh, here we go. I wanted to show you a picture of it for those of you who may not be familiar with the Einstein Coat. This here is what it's going to look like, but it will be lime green. Oh, I'm so excited. Yards and yards and yards of wonderful, lovely garter stitch with this wonderful slip stitch edge. So I'm really only starting. This is the bottom part. The construction of the Einstein Coat really does make you feel like, you know, you're brilliant, because you just pick up and knit the fronts, the back, you pick up and knit the sleeves, work those. You have very little seaming. And so I'm enjoying. I actually like it when the time changes and we have dark a little earlier because I enjoy sitting down and knitting, crocheting in the evening. So I'm excited about the Einstein Coat. I need to speed up the work there so that I'll have it for our cold winter months, which hopefully we're going to have. The other thing that I'm making, well, let me just show you this yummy stuff. These colors. Oh boy, there's a sleeve actually. It's got a shawl collar. This is a sleeve. I haven't done the other one yet. All of these yummy colors, leftovers that I have added to a Noro yarn that I will show you in just a minute. Oh, I love color. Don't you love color? Oh. So this is a design by Jenny King. Jenny King is from Australia. Tara Lever, England. Jenny King is from Australia. This is out of a Noro magazine from last year. Wonderful, isn't it? Here's the back. I can't wait until I'm finished with this. Now, she has made hers from Noro Tayo, which is a little bit thicker yarn than Curion. And here it is, Noro Knitting Magazine, issue number 7. So this came out last winter. I purchased this last winter because of that one pattern. I mean, I love Noro patterns, but they are including more and more crochet patterns. Love to crochet, especially with Noro. Beautiful stuff, or multicolored variegated yarns. So anyway, a friend of mine Her name is also Jennifer. She gave me, well, I do have more of this, but this is just what I pulled out. She gave me 4 skeins, 4 balls of Norocurion. Gorgeous colors in it, pinks, this is purple, green, and I just chose from my stash all sorts of colors to complement and go with those 4 skeins, because I knew that 4 skeins, it really wasn't going, that was nowhere near enough for a full sweater, but add it with other things. And I call that, I usually refer to that as my catalyst color, okay, my catalyst yarn. And then I'll throw into a bowl along with it any other yarns that I think might work with it. And then as I am knitting or crocheting in this case, I add these yarns in, and it's just working out wonderfully. So very excited about that one. Hope to be finished with that sometime soon. Let's see. Oh, I have started something that may actually take me a while, but I'm very excited about this. This is a church mouse pattern, and it is a poncho that you can either knit without the cowl or add the cowl here with it. And easy folded poncho. I love church mouse patterns. They are wonderful. They're terrific for beginners. I love steering fairly new knitters to the church mouse patterns because they're well written, they're often very simple construction, and they provide for, especially beginning knitters, a really long period of time to practice their stitches. So you see here, you've just got, yards of stockinette. So a beginning knitter would be able to practice knit a row, purl a row, knit a row, purl a row, back and forth, without having to think about all kinds of other things. Good practice for them. And for those of us who have been knitting for a while, this is like, the take it with you project, because you're not having to think. This is the project you take with you to your knitting group, because you're going to be conversing and talking and chatting and laughing, and you don't need anything real difficult for that. So, the church mouse easy folded poncho. Oh, well, I do have to show you this delicious purple lavendery. It's felted tweed. It doesn't get much better than this. You've got these lovely little flecks of blue and pink and white, and just a slight little halo, I think, of alpaca that shows up in there. So that's going to be fun to work on as well. I think that's it. And, I've been thinking a lot about this month being the month of gratitude and of thankfulness. I sometimes thankfulness I have to be purposeful about. I have to really take myself in hand and just drop into a place of gratitude. But other times, thankfulness and gratitude just wells up in me. And this month, that's been happening a lot. And it's because I just love this creative life. And I love being with others who love creativity too. So my classes are a great source of joy for me. I even wrote a little piece. It's called The Camaraderie of Stitches. And I put that on my blog called A Knitter's Grace. Again, I will give you links to everything I've talked about today. But I am just grateful for the community of knitters and crocheters. I'm thankful for women who love to make things with their hands. I feel like we have an instant connection. I'm thankful for the designers out there. Susan B. Anderson, Jenny Wadsley Brown, Caitlin Hunter, Jenny King, and Sally Millville, all the ones I've noted today, for providing us with these wonderful designs to knit. I'm grateful for those who make yarn, who spin it and dye it and make it into these wonderful strings that we can then create garments to wear and enjoy. And there's just so much to be thankful for, even if things aren't exactly how we might want them. Maybe it's a good thing that we have thankfulness that we have an election in the month of thankfulness, for us to be purposeful in our gratitude, no matter what side of the political arena you find yourself on. But I am truly grateful, and I'm thankful for you. So thank you for spending your time with me today. And I hope you keep knitting, crocheting, that you will draw and paint your life so that you can see it anew and see the beauty in it. And thank you. I'll see you next time. I forgot. Hattie reminded me that I needed to let you guys know about something that I've done with Fine Art America and those sheep drawings. Do you remember episode 2? I made 2 drawings of sheep that I saw at SAF, at the Southeastern Animal Fiber Festival. And I got a lot of interest on Instagram and from my students for having prints of these. And years ago, I had uploaded paintings and drawings to Fine Art America. And so I did that with those 2 sheep drawings. And several folks have purchased prints of those sheep. They have also purchased tote bags. These tote bags that Fine Art America produces and prints my artwork on. The artwork shows up on both sides of the tote. It is made of a really thick, nice canvas. The inside is black, the handles are black, the outside, of course, is a white canvas for the image to be on. So go check that out. FineArtAmerica.com, search Jennifer Edwards, and you'll see them. One is called Will You Be Mine? And the other is called I Like Yous. Of course, E-W-E-S. And thank you, Hattie, for reminding me to let everybody know about that. I hope you have fun. Bye.